It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interview. Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Yes! Touchdown! I did it!
Good afternoon, everybody. Merry Christmas. Eric Frandsen and JD Walker. Our good friend Jason Walker, he's not feeling well. Merry Christmas, Jason. You got sick. Here's your present. You get to go home with the family and
take Sudafed.
Yeah, curl up on the couch covered in blankets. But thanks for tuning in, joining us here on the Full Court Press. We are pre-recorded. JD and I sit down a little bit earlier in the day, take care of business here so we can spend some time with family on this Christmas Eve. If you're spending time with family, if you're on your way there, travel safe. Hopefully you have a great Christmas Eve and Christmas Day tomorrow. We will not be here tomorrow, recorded or otherwise.
Yeah.
We are going to take the day off. But wherever you may be, however you may be listening, thanks for being a part of this Full Court Press family. It's a lot of fun to do this show every day. To interact with you, the audience, to get the texts, to see you when we show up to live events. It's always fun. That has been a great gift to us, and it's very appreciated to have you guys listen and be a part of the show. And appreciate it. Hope you have a great Christmas this time of year, this great holiday season, spending time with family. But if you are traveling or have people traveling to where you are, we hope that they arrive safe and you have a great week this week with family and friends all around you. But plenty of things still to discuss as we are on this Christmas Eve, and a lot of things going on in sports, and no Aggie basketball, no Aggie football games specifically, but there's still a lot of things to discuss and debate. So we'll get to some of that. We'll talk about bowl games, bowl season, college football playoff, the latest in what's going on in the transfer portal, because it's still open for a few more days where players can put their names in the portal. They don't have to be committed by the end of the week because the portal closes, I believe, on December 28th, if I'm not mistaken. That's the deadline for players to enter the portal, but there's no real deadline for them to declare where they're headed. If you want to play somewhere next year, you probably want to be declared by the time that the next semester begins for your ultimate destination. But again, that's not necessarily guaranteed. But if you want that financial aid and everything that goes with attending college and classes, it's either by the first part of January or you have to wait until May. So yeah, it's kind of weird. So we're going to see this period where a lot of players have entered the portal. There still might be a few more who do enter, but it's going to the wave is starting to shift the other direction where players are announcing their new destinations.
Except last night for you and me. You know, somebody we have talked about, and a big fan of big physical receivers. And Otto Tia last night.
I know. I'm really sad about that one.
That kind of ruined it a little bit for me.
But talking about players coming and going, we'll also get into this junior college rule. It's a waiver, really, that was granted to one specific player by a federal judge, and now the NCAA is going to grant it for everybody, at least for one more year. So we'll look at that and how that affects Utah State. And next hour, we'll get into kind of a mid-season review of the Utah State and the Mountain West Conference. How would you grade things so far? Who would be the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year so far? And separating the pretenders from the contenders in the Mountain West. And also looking at the Utah Jazz and Utah Hockey Club and how they're doing so far going into the Christmas season. So a lot of different things on our plate today, on our schedule, on the docket. But let's first start off with the college football playoff. It's been highly controversial since the games happened this last weekend. Everybody seems to have a take. Nobody seems to be content. Everybody wants to gripe and complain. And, as the games were happening, and even since then, it's been a very hot topic. Was the College Football Playoff Committee correct in how they seeded teams, who got selected, and who played where? And now that we're moving into the second round of this is another debate about should this be reseeded after the first round? Should games continue to be played at home venues? Should they always be neutral site? So there's a lot of different ways to examine this, JD. And I guess for starters, just your observation of the college football playoff first round and how it went.
All the favorites won. Like, it was like wild card weekend in the NFL where a couple of the division teams play that they've won the division, but they take on wild card contenders. And I get it. Look, Texas was going to beat Clemson. Ohio State was going to beat Tennessee. Penn State, SMU, Notre Dame, Indiana. I mean, it really kind of worked that way. And some of the things, like with the Penn State game, being able to get tickets for I think it was $40. That blows my mind. We were talking a little bit, and I told you I've gone to every Rose Bowl game that the Oregon Ducks have been in since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. This will be the first time I haven't. But I don't remember even back then paying less than $250 for a ticket. So that kind of was a little bit. But I saw a lot of the shade. Lane Kiffin out there talking about it. And, Coach, if you really wanted to be in this discussion, all you had to do was win. That's it. And that's the thing. Did they pick the right thing for them? I'm going to say yes, because you can always Monday morning quarterback stuff. But look, Alabama shouldn't be in the conversation. If Alabama wanted to be in, or any of these other teams actually wanted to be in, there were games that they had to win, and they didn't. And so this is the first kind of rollout for the committee to do it. And, it's really easy to criticize when you're not sitting in that committee seat, because who else are you going to put in there? Alabama? Well, I'm pretty sure Alabama would have gotten walked. And the way it was, I thought it was a great week of football, or great games. I was really excited to have meaningful college football games right now, because normally that doesn't happen until the first. And now we've got really good football. Maybe it didn't go the way Clemson, Tennessee, SMU, or Indiana wanted, but the better teams, in my opinion, won. The higher-ranked seeds won. I think the committee got it right.
I think so too. Look, we got to play this clip. This was
fans get caught up in.
Yeah, that's Kirk Herbstreit. We'll play this from its entirety here, but Herbie talking about this, kind of his point of view, and he echoes a lot of these from the elite power conferences. And it's not just power conferences, the elite of the power conferences. And really, he echoes a lot of what their sentiments are. And it's really infuriating for me to listen to this. And we'll play the clip, and then we'll just kind of react to it. And where do we go from here?
The first round is now complete. All home teams won. They not only won, but they won by double digits. What is your biggest takeaway from this first weekend of the 12-team playoff?
That I hope next year the committee won't get caught up in what the social media and a lot of people who are fringe fans get caught up in, which is wins. They had 11 wins. They must be good. Who did they beat? I think is much more important than how many wins you have. That's old school way of approaching it. Indiana having 11 wins and beating nobody, that doesn't mean they're one of the 12 best teams. Remember, I know, Linda, I'm not taking this out on you, but there's a big difference between deserving and best.
Yeah.
What this is all about is giving us the best 12 teams. Now, it's subjective. How you want to figure out the best 12 is up to you, but that's what I want to see. I don't want to hear about wins. How many wins? Winning's obviously important, but just because you have 11 wins doesn't mean you're better than a team that maybe had a tougher road that had 9 wins. So I think we get too caught up in how many wins you have. It's really more about who are the best 12 teams, and we need to get the best 12 teams in this tournament every year.
It's a fantastic point, Kirk. Thanks for making it.
So how do we determine who the best 12 teams are if not by wins?
Well, I'm going to say
wins don't matter. Wins do matter.
Kurt probably defines the best teams by who's lining his pockets with the NIL deal from Alabama. That sounds strictly like it doesn't matter who. How many win? Yes, it does.
I mean,
does. You're scheduling this stuff.
This is such elitism that this is only a small group of kids who can play on the playground, and anybody shows up who looks like they could play. If you're not in our club, if you're not in our crew, well, sorry, you can't play. how else are we going to determine who the deserving teams are? By their rosters, how many 5-star recruits they have, the amount of money we're giving to the head coach. It has to be wins. Wins matter. You're telling us that wins don't matter. A team that goes through their look, Indiana went through a Power 4 conference schedule. This is ridiculous. The semifinal in the college football playoff, whether it's been a 4-team or a 12-team, the first round has almost always had blowouts in that first round. I don't know why, but it's been that way since this playoff has been in place. So this last weekend really was no different than what we've seen before, other than it happened on these university campuses at home sites rather than on a neutral field. And if that could that have been a difference maker? It probably would have been somewhat different if these were played on neutral sites.
But they earned it, didn't they? That's kind of the thing. The teams earned it.
That's why we do this.
Yeah.
Like, do we complain about the NCAA men's basketball tournament? There's always discussion about who's on the bubble and who should be seated different or maybe who gets left out. But once the games start, do we grouse and complain about, oh my gosh, look at that team that got blown out. They shouldn't have even been here. No. We sit back and we enjoy it. Let the games be played. Let the student athletes decide the game on the field. I just really chaps my hide hearing this elitism.
So, like, when I hear Herbie say that, I'm thinking Alabama, because that's what I've heard the most, the 3-loss Alabama team. Well, if it's not about your wins, Herbie, then it's got to be about who you lost to. Unranked Vanderbilt and then an unranked Oklahoma ran you out 24-3. There's no, to me, there's no, look, you lost to those guys. You won. If you want to count the wins too, let's talk about South Florida, Mercer, Alabama. Come on. you want to talk about who you've played? Mercer? Do they even I usually agree with Herbie a lot of the times and stuff, and he's level-headed, but this is just kind of complaining for clickbait fodder, I think. It's like, I think they got it right. I don't, what else are you going to do? Like,
I don't think he's doing that for clickbait. I think he's saying that because he genuinely believes it. I think there is a crowd of people who think there's only really 5 or 6, maybe 8 schools that are worth their salt every year in college football. And they just cannot comprehend that somebody else can have a good season. Yeah. It's beyond measure that somebody else could do well outside of that circle of friends. And when somebody does play well, they just, this is a fluke. Look at their schedule. There must have been a weird path for them to make this happen. Yeah, did Indiana have an easier path based on their Big Ten schedule? Maybe, but is that their fault? They still went out and played the game. They still went out and won. And we have to value victories. Wins matter.
And this schedule was picked, probably long before this and set up years before how it's going through. And, Mercer is all I got to say on that. Like, I don't really have any problems. I thought we had got great football, great storylines. If an underdog would have come through and shown up, it would have been a great thing too. But I think the results show that the committee got it right on this first time. There are things that could be tweaked. Like, I don't think, and I'm a Rose Bowl fanatic, I don't think it's right for all these teams that got buys that now have to travel to neutral sites. Ohio State should have to go back to Eugene. The Peach Bowl, it should have to be played for Arizona, or Arizona State. Texas should have to go to Arizona State. Penn State should have to deal with the purple field, and Notre Dame should have to go to Georgia. Not these neutral sites here that just line the pockets of all the big bowl games and stuff like that. But if you really want to make it about finding a national champion, you reward the teams who executed all year long, who won the big games. Like, Ohio State's now favored over Oregon 2.5. I don't think that favorite it translates to being at Autzen Stadium in Eugene.
Yeah, your reward is you get to host, right?
Yeah,
you get to have your crowd in your environment. I thought that was that was a win for me watching these teams host these games in the first round. I think that as you go through later on, I think I do like the aspect of, okay, let's go to neutral sites. At some point, you have to go to neutral sites and eliminate the road environment and say, okay, this is neutral. These are good teams. We're going to see who the best team is that's going to play out here on a neutral site that you don't have the home field advantage one way or the other. So I think there is a place for neutral sites, but I really do like this opening rounds, hosting them at your venue. That's part of the reward.
I would like to see the semifinals go to neutral sites, and then you just move. I know moving the Rose Bowl to Eugene, like calling it like that kind of setup. I know it's millions and hundreds of millions of dollars because we're talking about, I am from Pasadena, and I got amazing memories of the Rose Parade. Every float covered by every inch of the floats have to be covered by organic matter. And it's one of the most amazing things I've seen in person and everything. But I know it's all tied to that. But if you're the number one team in the country, or even Boise State, like let's throw Boise State, they shouldn't be penalized because they got a first round bye. And now we're looking at Penn State, Notre Dame, and Ohio State and Texas. They got home field advantage in the first one, and now they get to play the higher seed at a neutral field. There's some adjustments there that need to be taken place, or even playing those first round games, the teams that didn't earn a bye, that didn't earn home field advantage, maybe they should be playing the neutral site bowl games that first round, and then home field advantage the quarterfinals, and then semi you go to those neutral sites for those big bowl games.
Yeah, maybe. I think another tweak too should be that. I get it. There should be a reward for winning your conference. That should be recognized because that puts emphasis on the regular season. But you got a team in Arizona State who is ranked 12th in the college football playoff, and they get a first round bye. Where you had a team that was ranked 3rd in the college football playoff in Texas. They didn't. So there are some things that are just a little bit wonky there with these first round buys. And I think that that's a bit problematic as well. That I think that there ought to be some reward or some recognition. If you win a conference title, you're at least guaranteed to be in the top 12. But the top 4 teams are the ones who probably should be the ones deserving of a first round bye.
Just with Texas, they got that Georgia problem. Played them twice this year, lost twice. And for me, if I'm the college football playmakers, I'm putting those two in the same kind of bracket to meet in this quarterfinal, because that's like 3rd matchup of the year. We don't get that very often. Do we ever get that? Maybe a mid-season championship game and then possibly a bowl game.
It could happen. Yeah.
But this, it could have been master. And now for Texas and Georgia to meet, I think the national championship game is where it has to go, but it's and really I'm enjoying it. 99% overall, I'm enjoying it. The 1% is just looking for something to kind of pick out, and the home field advantage for the Ducks is going to be something I'm going to squawk about a little bit.
There you go. Well, so Boise State, they got to sit back and watch Penn State and SMU to see who they would face in Arizona in the Fiesta Bowl. So now it's Boise State, Penn State on New Year's Eve. 5:30 on ESPN. Penn State, the 6th seed, Boise State, the 3 seed, and Penn State is favored by 11. Which I'm not surprised. Look, they're a very good football team, but looking what Boise State has had a little extra time to heal, especially for Ashton Genty. That's big, and that offensive line and everything else that they need to improve. But watching Penn State. Boise State's going to have their hands full, but this is familiar territory for this program to go to this venue. Nobody on that roster, nobody on that coaching staff really has a lot of experience in that kind of a situation. But as a program, as a history, they've performed very well there in that venue. So this could be very interesting to see the Broncos play the upset and the spoiler, which, look, I'm not really a Broncos fan. It pains me to talk about them and highlight them, But if they could, as an outsider, as a group of 5 outsider, go through and disrupt this college football playoff and prove all these guys wrong, that wins matter and there can be good football teams outside of your close circle of buddies. That's what a playoff is supposed to reveal and celebrate, is this opportunity for the underdog to come through.
Yeah, Boise State, the Smurf turf, we've got our own personal feelings there, but I think it'd make for great football. And I just had to realize that they renamed the blimp there in Glendale to State Farm Stadium. That place is kind of magical for Boise State in a little bit. They've got some stuff. And with the way the ticket prices were so low, and I know they got people in there, but Broncos fans travel really well.
Yeah, they do.
And it's on our side of the country.
And they've known for weeks that they're going there.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like they have to turn around and make quick travel plans. They've known for weeks where they were headed.
I imagine if you want any food or service on New Year's Day in Boise, you're going to be out of luck. Everybody's going to be down there in Glendale. It's a big chance. And
New Year's Eve.
Eve. I don't see that 11-point favorite. I mean, I think Ashton Genty is going to be fired up. Everything I see about him, he's a Bronco and you want to whatever, but he's just this upstanding dude. He's wearing the Broncos colors while all the other guys are decked out in Armani suits and stuff. It's just a guy you want to see win. He came in second to the Heisman. Maybe we see him take a little bit of that frustration out on Penn State. And, man, that would be great football. Great football to see Boise State do well.
Yeah, so that's on New Year's Eve, 5:30 on ESPN. The New Year's Day, it's a full day. Texas, Arizona State, that's at 11 at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Then you've got Ohio State, Oregon at the Rose Bowl at 3. And then Georgia and Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl, that's at 6:45. It's... Yeah, like you said, we got a couple of teams that are favored by double digits. Texas is favored 13.5 over Arizona State. Penn State favored by 11 over Boise. Then you got Ohio State favored 2.5 over number 1 Oregon, and Georgia favored by 2 over Notre Dame. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think everybody ought to hold their everybody needs to take a step back and take a breath and let's just enjoy the games instead of nitpicking about that. That's the biggest problem with college football is you have these elite of the elite that have such power and control. They're able to manipulate things like this. But let's just sit back and watch this play out. And then next year, if we need to reevaluate it, we can take a look at it. But they're expanded, and this is the first year of doing it. We're giving more teams options and opportunities. It has... as you and I talked last Friday, this has accelerated the interest in bowl season, having these playoffs happen as early as they do. So I think it's been really good. And I think that people trying to take a crap on this, it's really frustrating.
I think we're kind of in an era where we want to microwave everything and change it to fit like a certain parameter. And, sometimes it's just nice to leave things alone and see how they work out. And so far, hey, look, the favorites won at home during the opening round. You look at the NFL playoffs, that happens more times than not. When you get an upset.
Ring in this new year with that special someone or friends and family enjoying delicious food and live music. The New Year's Eve buffet at Riverwoods Conference Center will have you savoring every bite with a hot carving station serving rosemary prime rib and perfectly blackened turkey breast and more delicious entrees including seafood, ribs, chicken, and pasta. Alongside an endless choice of delightful appetizers, side dishes, tasty desserts, and much more. The Riverwoods will also have live music from the band Wildflower. Get your tickets now at theriverwoods.com.
I really got to give the committee an A+. I'm interested. I'm invested in college football bowls before New Year's Day. I think that's a win for the sport.
Speaking of bowls, just we should mention there's a Mountain West school involved today. As soon as we get off the air, San Jose State taking on South Florida in the it's just the Hawaii Bowl at the Clarence T.C. Ching Athletics Complex in Honolulu. San Jose is favored by 2.5 in this one. So that'll be coming up a little bit later on this evening, 6 o'clock on ESPN. Stick around. A lot more to discuss here on the Full Court Press. Got to take a time out here shortly. But when we come back, you mentioned transfer portals. How's that affecting the Aggies? What are the latest? What's the latest news on players coming and going? And players that have announced that they're leaving, where are they headed? Some of them have declared. Some of those destinations are known. And looking at this new ruling about junior college players, anybody who spent some time at a junior college getting an extra year of eligibility. How does that affect the Utah State Aggies for football and basketball? Just a quick glance at the roster gives us some ideas of some players who may be able to benefit from that. We'll talk about it next here on the Full Court Press.
Over the past few years, strong and crazy weather patterns have battered various parts of the country. Northern Utah and southern Idaho are not immune from its share of wild weather. Be prepared for power outages with a Generac backup generator from Golden Spike Electric. They are your local source for Generac sales and service. Generac keeps you in control when bad weather strikes. Golden Spike Electric, powering your peace of mind. Online at gsegenerators.com or call 257-3016. They also service other models.
Some people like a white Christmas. Aggie fans, we prefer a blue Christmas. Put something blue under the tree from Locker 42. Here are a few gift ideas. For him, a Travis Matthews or Cutter and Buck Aggie logoed polo shirt. For her, Nike women's pullover hoodies. Aggie plush blankets are popular. Hoodies, jackets, sweatshirts. Give your Aggie fan a gift card and let them choose from the Locker 42 wall of hats. Make it a blue Christmas with something under the tree from Locker 42.
At Cash Equipment, we want to take a moment to say thank you to our customers, farmers, and ranchers. The early mornings, the late nights, and the endless care you pour into the land and animals that sustain us all. Your work is the backbone of our community, and we're honored to support you with reliable Kubota tractors and equipment. In fact, right now enjoy 0% financing for 60 months on select Kubota tractors. Cash Equipment in Hyde Park and online at cashequipment.com.
Don't neglect your appliances this holiday season. This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. Daryl's has an elite team of factory-trained technicians plus a huge parts department, which often means a same-day fix. We offer an exclusive no-risk diagnosis. If you change your mind, you can apply the repair to the cost of a new machine. Give Daryl's a call today. One of our background-checked and drug-tested technicians will get you going quickly. Daryl's west on Airport Road, open until 6 p.m. on weekdays, 5 on Saturday.
Who do you turn to if you want to change out your wood or pellet stove? Advanced Fireplace and Stove. They were voted the gold medalist for Best of Northern Utah for the 4th year in a row in the fireplace retrofit category. Be ready when the government's next wood and pellet replacement incentives pop up. Advanced Fireplace can help you navigate the paperwork. For more information, call Advanced Fireplace and Stove, 752-7272. Online at advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
I am Gary from Salt Lake and Logan today doing our traditional annual Christmas shopping that we do and have been doing for the last 20 plus years at the Sportsman. We love the service and the people that work there. We love the way that we're treated, something that we cannot experience in Salt Lake City. The selection they have and the quality of merchandise they have, as far as I'm concerned, is second to none.
Welcome, friend. Nice to see you again at the Sportsman.
This is Kyle at Advanced Door, and we guarantee every garage door we install for a lifetime, parts and labor. That's every door, every spring, every roller, every track, every motor. The entire garage door system guaranteed for a lifetime, parts and labor. We're Advanced Door, and we guarantee you'll be hearing this for a long time. Find out more at advanced-door.com. That's advanced-door.com.
It doesn't matter who you root for. The Full Court Press has all the high school sports covered. The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
Your locally owned Preston and Providence Napa Auto Parts supplies parts to over a dozen local Napa Auto Care Centers. You can trust and count on their ASE certified mechanics. Places like HK Auto in Dayton, Trail Riders Repair in Smithfield, and CJ Automotive in Smithfield. Those guys, they trust Napa Auto Parts, and you can too. So talking about Utah State football, looking at college football overall, we've been talking about bowl games, college football playoff, and what's the latest situation with Utah State football roster? We're in portal season. Players are going, players are coming. New players are entering the portal. They have until December 28th to declare if they're leaving or formally put their names in the portal. They don't necessarily have to declare where they want to or where they're going to end up before then. But we are starting to see some of that happen. But JD, we've got a few new players from Utah State in the portal. Some that we're really sad to see go, and not happy to see their names. Look, I get it. I understand players are going to put their names in. That's the nature of the world we live in at this time. Players, and it's a combination of two things. Right now, it's a combination of two things. One, players that are performers are getting offers from other schools who need from other institutions that have a little bit more money to spend, schools that have holes that need to be filled, and they want to go find somebody who's already talented and experienced who can come in and fill a gap, an immediate need. So that's one aspect of why players are leaving. Another aspect that was made pretty clear in his introductory press conference, Bronco Mendenhall said he and his staff were evaluating players on the roster and those who were committed to come to Utah State. And some of them may be coached to be put into the portal saying, look, not sure of what your place is going to be on our roster in the future. Why don't you go find somewhere where you can still play? And I get that. Sometimes you wonder about that. Was that the right move or not? But it happens. And so we've had a few cases here recently of players that additional players that have put their names in. And the latest is a player we are all hopeful that it looks like he was going to stick around. We're hopeful, hey, this is at least a weapon that's going to be available to the Aggies next year, but maybe not. Maybe not anymore.
Otto Tia had a pretty big season for us, 44 receptions, 434 yards, 7 touchdowns yesterday. They checked X, and Eric stole my Christmas cheer and retweeted that Otto was entering the transfer portal. Some of the guys kind of cool. JD Drew going back to Tulsa. He's got family there. Also saw one of the cool, Jaden Francois.
Yeah.
He, one of my favorite guys to follow. DB had a pretty good season stepping up, going to Duke. So some pretty cool stuff. Will Money going to Oklahoma State. You got Mason Edwards to McNeese State. Tanner Williams. I want the best for you, Tanner, but you're going to San Diego State. We're going to have to think about that. Jaden Pearson going over to the Bulldogs. Simeon Harris also joining him with the Bulldogs. And DJ Graham. Man, I was hoping we'd hold on to him. Kansas. And then Teague Anderson going to NC State, getting a pretty big offer from them too. So seeing some of the guys getting bigger money, some of the guys being told to find new spots, and also some guys going home to find some stuff. But yeah, the list is long. Just reassure me, Eric, are me and Jason going to have to go to walk-on practice and spring ball to be like offensive linemen or something? Is that going to be necessary, or are we going to fill out this roster?
Well, when you look at Jason Walker has this transfer tracker. It's on CashValleyDaily.com, and he updates it regularly. And he's got the list of portal entries from Utah State. Guys that were on the roster this year with eligibility remaining who have put their name in the portal. And then he's got another list of transfers coming to Utah State. Well, the transfers leaving USU, that list is still a lot longer than the players coming to Utah State. But it should, the players coming to USU, that should continue to grow. And there's still a little bit of time to see that happen. Quite a few players from New Mexico on this list. Guys who played under Coach Bronco Mendenhall, moving with him and his coaching staff to Logan. But you're also going to see them tapping junior college and get more junior college transfers to come to Logan as well. So it is a little imbalanced still at this time. You and I were talking during the break. It's hard when you get invested in these players, rooting for them and watching them, and especially those that have been here for a few years, and watching them grow and become real contributors. And based on their trajectory, you start to get excited about what they could do next year. And then you see them leave. It's really hard. And as this continues to happen, is it just going to get us more jaded about watching? Will we be less and less attached to players and teams because just so much the transitory transaction type nature of coming and going for college football?
I want to say I'm not going to be jaded, but I'm a little bummed, and that's how I've referenced in the interactions. I follow many of these players that are leaving, and they follow me, and we've had interactions and stuff. And usually my interactions is going to be like this. I'm really bummed, but I want the best for these guys. He's best for the student athletes, and to go and shine at the other opportunities they're given, except for San Diego State and Fresno and those guys. But, I want them to do the best. And so I hope it doesn't jade me or the other fans, because when they come and they spend time here at Utah State, I am quickly learning how special the environment is, whether we're talking about Merlin Olsen Field with the Herd, or we're talking about the Spectrum, or just campus, just around town. It's a different experience. So I hope we don't become jaded and give these student athletes that come here to Logan the full experience of just what that Cache Valley magic is, the people that are here, that I really believe we live in the greatest place on earth. The landscape's beautiful, but the people are amazing. And so I don't want to see us become jaded, and I'm kind of on the, man, this sucks. I hope you have great success, elsewhere, but not against the Aggies. But I think that's the mindset that maybe, I don't know how much players pay attention to social media, some of them more than others. But I hope they see that, hey, we understand you're moving on, and I don't want it to turn toxic. Like I've watched some of our brothers and sisters down south when the players hit the portal, or Isaac Wilson, for instance, announced he was entering the portal, and then he came back. Yeah. And there's a lot of fans that got to delete stuff and scrub their social media because the things that are said, I don't ever want to get to that. I want to be positive about this stuff, but it is a bummer when you look at the War and Peace long novel that Jason's got assembled there. But then, you look at the incoming transfers, you see some of the New Mexico stuff, you see the junior college transfers that are coming in, learning that Snow College is the pipeline for a lot of talent. And also seeing the offers that are out there that Coach Mendenhall's staff's making. Just last night, a 6'6" receiver got an offer. And I'm like, man, me and Coach Mendenhall love us some big receivers, Eric.
Yes, that's good. We'll take them. Continue to keep an eye on that. Jason's done a nice job of keeping track of that, of who's coming, who's going. You can see that list on CacheValleyDaily.com. Even some player highlights for those that are committed to come here. He's able to find some highlight videos from some of these players. So
you get snaps,
early breakdown.
Yeah, snaps played, stats. We've got some guys coming from New Mexico and Utah Tech that have done some really heavy stuff on defense. Some running backs coming in. Miles Davis. I think we're going to be playing a little Miles Davis on Aggie Game Day coming up next season, coming from BYU. But one of the other ways that wondering about this is the junior college ruling and stuff. And so we saw that with the quarterback from Vandy, and then it was kind of put out there that Faison was looking at that too. And now Faison has an extra year of eligibility. He's not on this list, but from what I've heard from his agent, he is in the transfer portal. And I know we're still kind of in a lot of fog with this. Like, how does this work out in anything? But all of a sudden, Utah State has access, maybe hopefully to return, who knows, to the top running back in the transfer portal.
Yeah, or he can go find and get a big paycheck somewhere playing an extra year of college football.
And that's the thing. Faison
and improving his draft status.
Yeah, incredible year. He doesn't play in a conference with Ashton Genty like he gets a lot more headlines on the stuff with how he played. And 2 sprained ankles and coming back and balling out. Whoever, if he stays here in Logan or if he goes and he finds an opportunity that uplifts his draft stock and gets him more NIL and stuff, oh man, watch out for Faison.
Yeah. So circling back on that, the Diego Pavia, the quarterback at Vanderbilt, wanted an extra year of eligibility. It's like it's been standard for forever that if you spend time at a junior college, that counts towards your overall 4 years to play. And he's like, well, it's hurting my earning potential. I should be able to stick around for another year because I'll probably get about $1 million. So federal court has agreed. And since that happened, now all these other players who've spent time at a junior college are like, well, what about me? And so the NCAA just recently has agreed to a waiver for junior college players. It grants them an additional year of eligibility. And if they're in a similar situation as Diego Pavia, so saying that his junior college seasons shouldn't count toward his overall 4 seasons of NCAA eligibility. Here's what the NCAA memo states. This is what they send out to all colleges, Division I football. It says the NCAA Division I Board of Directors granted a waiver to permit student athletes who attended and competed at a non-NCAA school for 1 or more years to remain eligible and compete in 2025-26. If those student athletes would have otherwise used their final season of competition during the 2024-25 academic year and meet all other eligibility requirements. Examples given: progress toward degree, 5-year period of eligibility. So on one hand, it kind of makes sense. Like the NCAA eligibility rules apply to time in an NCAA institution. Junior colleges are not governed by the NCAA. So I kind of get that, why they would do this. But this kind of opens the door to a big can of worms. We talked about this the other day, that if you're a college program, why do you even recruit high school kids? If you can just coach someone to go to a junior college, spend a few years there, working on your strength and your conditioning, learning football at a higher level, and then they get a grown adult, a grown man, to come to their campus rather than spending a year or two developing a high school kid. Why would you even recruit high school kids?
Yeah, because with the high school kid, you also have to think, too, they come in, and in this day and age, if you don't play right away, there's not the patience. It doesn't seem like we have the patience anymore to develop. So developing those high school kids and putting in money, time, energy, and effort, resources to develop them, and then maybe having them redshirt and then their sophomore year bounce, I totally see it. Like, why not start the Logan Canyon College, junior college up there, and we can just it could be like the minor league baseball system. We have a AAA team for the Aggies, develop, move them up. That's kind of the way it's going. It's just the Wild West of the way college sports has been this year. It's just been kind of nuts. Do you think 2025 will calm down, or do you think it's going to get even more crazy?
We'll find new ways to screw this up. But looking at who could benefit from this?
Spencer Petras, could he benefit? Did he play any? No, he did not. Major. So
yeah, he never spent time at a junior college. But just quickly glancing over, I didn't go too deep on this, but there's at least 25 football players for Utah State who spent time at a junior college, at least.
Ooh.
And there's probably more than that, but there's at least 25. So if that works, that's a quarter, more than a quarter of your roster. It could be a third or even almost half of your roster could have spent time at a junior college that suddenly has an extra year of eligibility. It's crazy. And then for basketball, there's a couple of notable names here for Utah State. Drake Allen spent a year at Snow College. He'd get an extra year. Dayton Albury, he spent a year at Chipola College, so he'd get extra eligibility as well. So this isn't just a football thing. This is a basketball thing. This is an all sports thing here that could really benefit a lot of different athletes and give them more time at the college level, at the NCAA level.
There's some military institutes that are out there. I think John Ross May, is he on that list? Does that count towards asking for? Because I'm not sure if that falls under the NCAA ruling or not.
Well, so he's that's an interesting one. I have to look at him specifically where he spent time, but there are a couple there are a few guys who spent time at New Mexico Military Institute.
Yeah, so
Alo Ali'i Maui went there. Georgia Military College, Jalen Royals.
So he'd
have an extra year if he wanted it. So Kyle Cephalo.
If the backup quarterback for Penn State's worth $1.5 million in NIL, how much is Jalen Royals?
Well, so Kyle Cephalo tweeted out a little video. He's just doing a panorama of the stadium at Cal, and it's a beautiful setting. And Jalen Royals replies to it like,
"Oh yeah,
ooh,
and
let's go," something like that. And then Cephalo's like, "Oh, don't toy with me." And I don't know what's happened since then, but with this ruling,
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
Be a possibility.
The amendments to the transfer portal have provided college athletes with a unique amount of power in college football. After years of coaches being able to come and go as they please, it's about time players receive the same amount of flexibility. But when you look at how chaotic the portal has become in 2024, it may be time to question whether or not things have gone too far. Since the portal reopened on December 9th, over 2,000 FBS players have entered the portal. When the portal first opened in 2018, a total of 1,500 players went searching for a new home that entire year. To make things even more interesting,
when Manning went back,
features 15 former five-star recruits, and 31% of all the players in the portal are already former transfers. No one is asking the NCAA to go back on its ruling, but with the portal growing every season, the NCAA may need to find some middle ground before college football becomes an even wilder West. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
Man, what an interesting thing. Jalen predicted late first round, second round. Might be able to help that draft stock, but I don't know if the other thing, that's a guaranteed contract in the NFL against 12 games in college, NIL, and the possibility of an injury. So,
I think Royals, I mean, if he were listening to me, and I know he isn't, and he wouldn't. But if I were to advise him, I would say, look, you got a chance to go to the NFL.
Premium price tag. Seriously,
you're going to make money in the league.
You need a gift that screams.
Don't mess around with college. You're going to make that money and be able to perform at a higher level. Go take that. Get the contract.
Something cheeky
and try to play for my Seahawks
kickoff, and then boom, instant gifting gold.
John Ross May, he played at Division II, Lenore Rhine, so that's not a junior college, and he spent pretty much his entire career there before coming to Utah State. So he would not qualify.
But the military institutions, that's interesting because we've seen that's one of the aspects that I didn't realize in recruiting so much is that those institutions put out a lot of amazing players out there, and now they're finding themselves with an extra year right now of eligibility.
Yeah. Well, guys like Kean Sloan, American River College, he would be available and have more time.
And his season got cut short, didn't it, with an injury?
At the very end. He started to come alive at the very end of the season. Yeah. So, there's like I said, 25, 30 guys at least. Some are more recognizable than others, but it could drastically affect how coaches manage their rosters, how they do recruiting. And for high school kids too, like high school players used to be doted on and sought after, and now they're kind of second-class citizens if this continues to roll forth like this.
Yeah, can you imagine Coach Mendenhall coming to town, transfer portal, all that stuff, and now the junior coach is probably like, okay, we're going to deal with X, Y, and Z, but now we've got to deal with all these exponents that are out there. What a wild year of college football.
Recruit a JC kid because those 2 years Willie spent there don't matter.
Do you think
I got 4 years with them?
Do you think this will help junior colleges?
Oh my gosh. They will become a hotbed of recruiting.
Yeah, Snow College leading the way with that. I mean, we've seen several players already transfer from Snow College up here.
Yeah.
Titan Saxton, one of them that has close cousins with Ike Larson.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited for it because I think it'll elevate junior college. And some of the detractors talk about, it's going to be, we're going to have 28-year-olds playing college football. Well, I'll tell you what, a 28-year-old playing college football in the prime of their career, that's going to be some pretty good football. And some of these kids, they don't have a chance at the next level. Like every level you go from like club sports, high school, college football, the attrition rate is huge. Like not many people make it. So if my kid can stay in college for 6 years and get some NIL to help him out with the start of his life and an education, man, I'm all for it. And if it raises the game, the product that we get on the field, especially with the players, and now you have to unearth talent everywhere. You can't just be Bama and stack 5-star recruits and expect them to sit there behind for 4 years and get their shot. Now you got Ryan Williams, the kid that was 17 when he started this season. He's in the portal. He's got a $1.5 million offer somewhere else, and Bama's crying poverty. Yeah. It tells you that college football's on its side right now.
It's all bonkers. Let's do this. Close out the hour normally on a Tuesday. We like to do a couple of things, and we like to do the stat that blew our minds and our player of the week. But I don't know if I'll be able to play our funky music the way we normally do here. So for some reason, it's not quite responding like it should. So we'll just call an audible and do it just cold. But let's start off with player of the week. JD, any player for you and how they performed this last week that really stand out to you?
I'm going to go with Carson Templin. He has the win over St. Mary's yesterday, and we had a chance to sit down with him at Fisher Home Furnishing on Sunday, and then on Friday we had a chance to sit down with him. Just really impressed with this young man, and listed at 6'8", 230, was really valuable against St. Mary's. I don't know what happened, Eric. Apparently, Carson Templin's distant cousins with Steph Curry, because he just got out there and started shooting 3-pointers. And there was a time in the second half where Carson was going down, and Saxton's a big dude in the post and just big, ogre down there. And he went up to try to get an easy 2-point bucket, and Carson rejected it. And he is just playing on the next level. I think his progression from last season to this season is probably the best on the team that I've seen. And I know Mason's playing out of his mind, but Carson is doing amazing. So I'm going to give him the stat of the week with that one block and those 3-pointers that he drained, and Carson Templin's my player of the week.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. And I think that that play on Sunday was a carryover from the game against UC San Diego, where in the closing minutes, he was doing everything physically possible to try to keep the Aggies in that game. And just his activity, it's like a lot of comparisons between he and Justin Bean, where their activity is their superpower, right? Just they're active and they're always going after things. But Carson is further ahead of Justin as far as his ability to make shots and have actually a pretty decent looking shot. Justin had a terrible looking shot and had to work on it a lot to improve it. But Carson, really impressed with his improvement and how he's helping the team in a lot of different ways.
And
great choice.
Adding that stretch 5 to the Aggies, we saw how that made a difference versus St. Mary's.
Yeah. For me, the stat, so I'm just going to echo with you with Carson. Really impressed with his week this last week. But my stat that blew my mind in our closing seconds here, how about the Green Bay Packers last night? They secured a playoff spot by shutting out an opponent at home for the first time since 2010. And the game on Monday night, that was the first time a team has been shut out all season in the NFL so far this year. New Orleans not doing very well in Green Bay.
Not at all. I don't think anybody in December does well in Green Bay except Jordan Love.
That's true. That's going to do it for us this hour. We got a lot more to discuss next hour, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. But if you're out and about on this Christmas Eve, travel safely. Hope you have a great holiday. And there's still more to talk next hour, so stay with us here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
As the year comes to a close, we at Aggies Healthcare want to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude.
To our Christmas is almost here. Are you still looking for that perfect gift? If so, S.E. Needham Jewelers is the place for you. We have fine jewelry pieces starting at $29, sparkling diamond earrings starting at $149, diamond bands made of 14-karat gold at $249, with financing available. For gift ideas, take a look at our extensive watch and gift selection, or make it simple and stop in for a gift card and any evaluation. There is still time to shop for the people and occasions that matter most. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block at the sign of the clock.
Now here's a concept. You earmark 1/3 of your profits to go back into the community, to local charities. Dex Imaging does that. My name is Anthony Wagoner, and I'd like to share with you what I know about Dex, the company that acquired Valley Office Systems. Dex Imaging is committed to continuing quality customer service while raising the bar to become a strong community partner. Join us in creating the brightest image for tomorrow. Contact us at deximaging.com.
Happy holidays from the entire team at Adams Wealth Advisors. As we celebrate the joy of this season, it's also time to plan for a financially sound future. Wondering about tax strategies or required investment distributions? Adams Wealth Advisors has the answers. The Adams Wealth team is here to guide you through any complexities and ensure a prosperous new year. Happy holidays from Adams Wealth Advisors, where achieving your financial goals is their mission. Call today to schedule an appointment, 752-1702, or search Adams Wealth Advisors online.
Hi, this is Terrence Howard. Colorectal cancer is the second leading cancer killer, but you can prevent this disease. If you're 50 or older, get screened. Please, do everything that you can to stay around for yourself and for your family. Screening saves lives.
A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Take the ride of your life. Join the American Diabetes Association's Tour to Cure annual cycling event. Call 1-888-DIABETES or visit diabetes.org/tour.
The Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council present the story of Tom and Levi.
Tom is the smartest man I know. He's been a professor at 2 major universities, been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, he told me that he was having problems in his classes. I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. And he was telling them that he was doing it as a favor to them, but I think in reality, he just wanted to get out of there. I was really starting to worry because I saw something was wrong.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me, and my love for him was just immense.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is McGruff the Crime Dog, and I need you to help me take a bite out of crime. Another teenager fell victim to fake pills. Smells like big crime that needs to be stopped. Where are these pills coming from, and how are kids getting them? Right from under our noses, crooks are targeting kids on social media and selling them counterfeit pills that could seal their fate with a click of a button. It may seem harmless, maybe it doesn't even seem like a drug deal, but it definitely is. So before buying pills online, think about this. Should buying prescription pills be that easy? Think these pills are tested and safe? Think they're the same ones you get from a doctor? You know they're not. Did you know that many fake pills contain fentanyl, and an amount small enough to fit on the tip of a pencil can be lethal? Listen, before buying pills from social media, think again. Learn more at mcgruffpsa.org and go for real. Brought to you by USPTO and the National Crime Prevention Council.
You asked, begged, and even pleaded, and the heavens heard you. KLGN Logan, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.